Justice Alito?
What is the, the substantive difference between the words that were used by the Montana Supreme Court and the words that we used in Brigham City?
So, Justice Alito, what they said was objective, specific, and articulable facts from which an experienced officer would suspect that a citizen is in need of help.
What's the difference between that and what we said in Brigham City?
Reasonable basis to believe that someone is seriously injured or imminently threatened with such injury is different because it doesn't use the word suspicion. And I think the dissent is right to say that the words used in the majority opinion below sound in Terry. Not just the use of the word suspicion, but even the specific and articulable facts. That's Terry-type language. In the footnote that accompanies that standard, the majority analogized and said it was comparable to the Ninth Circuit's exigent circumstances test, but the language is quite different, and it is not the Brigham City language that Justice Sotomayor quoted.
No, I had a couple more questions. I'm puzzled by your explanation of why the police did what they did. Why did they go in your view?
Why do I think subjectively? I think that they treated it as to be honest, as a community caretaking exercise.
They didn't think he was. They didn't think he. Put aside the fact that Fourth Amendment looks to objective facts, not to subjective. But your view is they didn't really think he was going to commit suicide. What he really wanted to do was to commit suicide. He wasn't going to kill himself directly. He wanted to commit suicide by police. So they said, well, all right, let's go in. So he will pull a gun on us, and then we will shoot him. And if that's what he wants, we're going to oblige him. I'm totally puzzled by your explanation of what you think really went on here.
Justice Alito, I think that risk is the risk that was focused on in the on-the-scene deliberations. I'll just quote again. Sergeant Pasha, he's been suicidal forever and he hasn't done it, but there have been several times when he's tried getting us to do it. Later on, Sergeant Pasha says, I'm scared that maybe he didn't actually shoot himself because he can't, and he's tried suicide by cop before, and he left us all this, so we're going to go into the house and he's going to pull a gun on us. So there's a refrain.
So they wanted to oblige him in his desire to commit suicide by police, and thereby expose themselves to serious risk of death or serious bodily injury. That's what was going on?
Your Honor, at a certain point in when you watch the video, they get sort of ahead of steam and they're starting to just prep to go in. And of course, they have to do some prep, but they are focused on taking the preparations that they'll need in case he wants to shoot it out with them, and that kind of momentum leads after 40 minutes to the entry. But again, if you consider the on-the-scene assessment by officers who knew Mr. Case and the risk that they thought was the serious one, it was the risk that he was going to provoke a confrontation. I mean,
if we write an opinion and we set out the facts of this case, and we say, well, it has to go back to the Montana Supreme Court for them to apply the Brigham City test, will it not be the case that those people who instruct police officers are going to say, wow, if the Supreme Court thinks that this is even a close case, has to be sent back to the Montana Supreme Court. We don't know when you can ever go in and try to prevent somebody from committing suicide unless you literally see through the window the guy's got a gun to his head, or they see a dead body on the floor. So look, let's do the safe thing. We're just not going in unless we've got absolutely ironclad proof.
Justice Alito, three things. The court's already said in Fisher you don't need ironclad proof. The second thing is, of all the Supreme Court justices on the Montana Supreme Court, there was not a single justice who voted to uphold this search under a probable cause standard, and 3 justices said it did not meet probable cause. And the final thing, I again would go to the officer's own assessment. It is an unusual case because they had so much information about him, and it's not just that they knew him. One of the officers was a percipient witness, was there at 2 of the prior
All right,
incidents.
thank you. I get it.